Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. What is it with radical Democrats nowadays? It seems like they're hoping for political violence. They are putting federal law enforcement agents in the crosshairs of violent criminals and left-wing lunatics, and it's about time this all comes to a stop. But one state representative has crossed the line and is engaged in doxing of ICE agents. And the extent that she went to, well, it is completely mind-boggling. It is unlawful. It breaks a number of federal laws. And it's time that we start holding officials accountable for their unlawful actions. So before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. So this state representative, and it happens to be in Illinois, of all places, her name is Margaret Croak, and she sent out an email on Friday listing detailed descriptions of vehicles suspected to belong to ICE agents operating in Chicago neighborhoods. The flyer is titled Updated List of ICE Vehicles Seen Today. It includes the make, model, color, and partial license plate info for cars believed to belong to agents working in the area. So Croak urged recipients to report suspicious activity like law enforcement operations, I don't quite get this, to hotlines claiming that ICE actions are unlawful and undemocratic and offering resources to connect illegal aliens with attorneys or social services. Well, let's get this straight. What is illegal, what is unlawful, is harboring illegal aliens, because we have federal laws on the books and those have supremacy over state laws that conflict with them. So these ICE agents are fully authorized by the federal government to detain, question, and potentially deport those who are illegal aliens who cannot prove that they are legally entitled to residency in the United States, who cannot prove that they are citizens, for example. So there are legal processes in place to give those people due process. That does not entitle you to resist arrest. It doesn't entitle you to have sanctuary cities where you're immune from federal law enforcement operations, because let's face it, Democrats have been saying for decades that immigration is a federal law enforcement issue. Well, here you go. Now you have it. This is a federal law enforcement issue. You said to red state governors that they weren't allowed to enforce their own borders. Well, guess what? They're allowed to enforce their own borders, and the United States government is allowed to enforce its border, whether you like it or not, whether your Marxist playbook corresponds with it or not, whether your hopes for the Democratic Party getting millions and millions and millions of ill-gotten, unlawful individuals to be given amnesty and to go out and vote for you because you want to give them goodies at taxpayer expense, well, that you're not entitled to that either. So the Democratic Party, they continue to take actions and to use political rhetoric that is almost certainly going to incite violence. And to call federal law enforcement operations unlawful it crosses the line. You cannot say these things. There are statutes in place that prevent officials from knowingly deceiving the public. And in the state of Illinois, as we saw J.B. Pritzker, he lied about Chicago's homicide rate, and there are lawyers calling for an ethics investigation into that as well. So you're not allowed to deceive the public about all of this. And it's time that there is an example made of those Democrats who are engaging in unlawful activity that can be proven in a court of law. Those people need to be charged, prosecuted, and a jury can decide if they're guilty of breaking the law. But I think that the U.S. Code is pretty clear. You cannot harbor illegal aliens. You cannot dox federal law enforcement agents. You cannot incite political violence. You cannot knowingly deceive the public. So this criminal enterprise that the Democratic Party has become, it needs lawful pushback. And hopefully the Department of Justice continues to do its job, and the FBI continues to investigate those who are engaging in illegal activity. This Illinois state representative appears to have crossed the line. Let's see what happens with this story. We'll keep monitoring it, but please weigh in with your own thoughts. We appreciate hearing you at Explain America.